Hello and welcome to Arts Overlook. I'm your host, John Stanish. Today we're going to be taking an extended look at one of the Hearst's new exhibits. The latest episode of Arts Overlook starts right now.
Art is thriving in the Cedar Valley. It's everywhere. But if you don't know where to look, you could miss it. This is your local arts perspective. This is the Arts Overlook.
We've talked before on the show about beauty being found in nature. And Iowa certainly has a lot of nature, with large swaths of rural areas, which I'm sure you've seen or driven past on highways or gravel roads. But artist Kirk Hovenga invites us to take a moment and appreciate Iowa's natural beauty in his exhibit at the Hearst, New Landscapes.
I first discovered Kirk Hovenga's work when I went to the Heritage Art Gallery on Main Street one day, many years ago now, and on display there were many of his small paintings.
This show is kind of a mark in a way, because they have a show, it's called the First 50, and I decided to come down, and I was number 48, and I had a painting in the show, and Emily is the one who picked that out, Drennan, and she said, you know what, I'd like you to show here.
I was excited to see it again, and I encouraged him to propose a show for the Hearst Center.
So I've been painting probably 35 years, 40 years, something like that. I actually was born in Cedar Rapids and moved to Davenport, Iowa, grew up there. I painted in high school, but I went to the University of Iowa and got my Bachelor of Fine Arts there. And after that point, being in the art supply industry, I would do business in the days and have studios at night, so I just kept painting all those years. So that's basically how I got into it, I guess.
Kirk bounced around the United States before settling in Fort Lauderdale with his wife, but soon, a slower pace of life called to them.
So I traveled all over, was involved in the art community, and finally one day, my wife and I decided, you know what, we're gonna leave Fort Lauderdale, Miami. And so we went to this little town, Dumont. My grandparents lived and great-grandparents lived. So I paint out of there, 600 people, and the landscape struck me. When you leave and you see different areas and you come back, it's like all of a sudden you see things in a different way. So I decided to try and capture Iowa the best I could. It's a very unique place because every day you drive, it's a different time, different light, different atmosphere, and of course the seasons, and they change as well. And I think sometimes you end up not noticing those things. So I decided I'd try and capture as much as I could, and hopefully I succeeded in that.
At first glance, many of these paintings almost look like photographs. Kirk says there's a reason for this sense of realism.
I do have some that are really extremely photorealistic, and I have some that are more stylized, I would say.
As is the case with the painting next to me here, there's a little bit more of a Grant Wood sort of landscape feel that is really nice.
I have a minor in photography. I'll go and take reference photographs. And most of these paintings are done within a maybe 20-mile radius of my house.
When you come to see the works in the show, you'll see some very modern takes on landscape work, such as images as though they're seen from a moving car.
I work through computer, I do design process, so it certainly has references in photographs, there's no doubt about that.
And he has a beautiful eye for composition, and you'll see here in the gallery we have one of his paintings of a stream in a field, and I've included a small prep painting so that you can see how he worked through that.
But I definitely don't try to do photorealistic type paintings. You just look, and I kind of sometimes equate light to flavor. That I don't think we quite understand sometimes. I didn't understand until I came back. It may not be the tree or the sky or one in particular thing that you're looking at, but you're looking at almost the flavor of the light, the atmosphere. And if you can capture that, which is what I try to do, is to capture that kind of flavor, it touches an emotion that makes it real. Like I said, I do have some that really experimented into the photorealist side of things. But for the most part, I think the show mostly generates and touches upon that aspect of things. People, when they look at that, they say it looks photorealist, but maybe it's because it touches something in them that is deeper in the heart. I think that's, when you get down to it, that's what it does.
In the end, what matters most is capturing the distinct feeling that can only be described as Iowan.
I really do think it's important that people take a moment, they stop and look, and it may not be the painting that they like in particular, but it reminds them of something that they've been past, driven past, or whatever. It was really intended for an Iowa audience. I have some people that have come from my hometown, and they go, that's that place. I remember that. It's familiar, it's a smell, the touch, just light of the day. It's nice. You know, I kind of want to make Iowans proud too. I mean, they should be proud of where they live. They should be proud of who they are.
As a special takeaway for the exhibit, Kirk and his wife produced a folding card with his work, his paintings on it, and there's a perforated edge so you can send your favorite painting to anyone you like.
That's it for this episode of Arts Overlook. I'm your host, John Stanish. Thanks so much for watching.